your fancy. You can have it any way you want. Your fancy. You can have anything you like. It's your fancy. You can have it any way you want. Your fancy. You can have anything you like.
Thank you. Thank you. Creator of the universe, God the Good, loves you, Cancer. October is the month of the angelic frequencies of the gemstone Opal. Your birthstone is ruby, Cancer, so what we need to do is see how these two gemstones resonate with each other. I'm Pastor Rosemary, the Astrology Angel. Thank you for joining us. If you'd like to learn how to contact me, please visit my website at www.readingsbyrosemary.com, where we provide you with all the information necessary on how you can obtain one of our spiritual consultations, psychic astrology, Rosicrucian Kabbalah, as well as classes and upcoming seminars. October's gemstone of Opal has the light emanations of the astrology archangel Zuriel, and your zodiac sign gemstone of Ruby has the properties of light bestowed by the zodiac archangel Muriel. So what we've got Zuriel being for October. October's is Zuriel, and the zodiac sign for you, for your sign, is for Ruby is Muriel. So we're going to find out how these energies really balance out with each other. Now, if you'd like to find out how you can become better and more adept at using esoteric Christianity, Rosicrucianism, that kind of thing, to become either a Christian psychic or some people want to be a Christian witch. Witch is just like a certain European or really more in the British Isles, that kind of heritage for what used to be called a medicine man or a medicine woman or a kahuna in other cultures. It's the same thing. It's just it's a different, really a different culture. That's all. It's more European and also in the British Isles. So, you know, it's just a difference in language is really all it is. But if you want to learn how to be a Christian psychic or a Christian magician, one book you really should get is this. It's The Occult Christ, Angelic Mysteries, Seasonal Rituals, the Divine Feminine. This is I've kind of invented my own system, but these books are just invaluable. You see the Rosy Cross there, and it's by Ted Andrews, and it's published by Llewellyn, a must-have book. That it's a beautiful book. The energy of it is just a very beautiful, healing kind of rose quartz kind of, elixir. It's a wonderful, wonderful book. So you have to get that one if you're interested in becoming, again, a Christian astrologer, Christian psychic, or Christian witch. Now, regarding your ruling planet, is the moon. It's Luna. Luna is the Latin for the moon. Okay, so Cancer, moonstones or pearls are the precious stones that you're going to use to align yourself with the energy of the planetary angel Gabriel, who is assigned to the ancient planet Luna in Kabbalah, who really bestows wonderful emotions which come from the heart, more powerful than any logic of the mind, who, like all angelic beings, provide the human creature with varying levels of compassion and mercy and consideration and leniency and correction and also severity. So be very mindful of your own power when utilizing these powerful gemstones in unison with one to another. So remember, this is a raw ruby that one of our clients gave to us many moons ago. Now, regarding Gabriel, the Archangel Gabriel, the Archangel of the Moon in Kabbalah, is acclaimed in all Abrahamic faiths. In the prophecy of Daniel in chapter 8, verses 15 to 16 in the Dewey Rames Bible, we read, "And it came to pass, when I, Daniel, saw the vision and sought the meaning, that behold, there stood before me, as it were, the appearance of a man. And I heard the voice of a man between Ulai, and he called and said, Gabriel, make this man to understand the vision." So remember that there are various different types of Bibles. You know, we quote the Douay-Rheims Webster's Bible, and also we often quote the New Heart English Bible translation. This is the Revised English Standard Version, the Second Catholic Edition. This is a great Bible. It's a beautiful one because of the beautiful embossing on the front of Christ with the four angels around. Now, this is very much like the World card in tarot. It's all, pretty much, again, get that book, The Occult Christ, if you want to learn how to utilize some of these things. And you can visit my blog, Psychic Astrology, because for Meetings by Rosemary, because it's I've kind of created a system that works for me using the Bible. It's my own invention, but these other books are really wonderful, and you should school yourself in the esoteric Christianity. Very, very important. Okay, now, continuing with this, and then the prophet Daniel continues in chapter 9, verses 21 to 22. Again, in the Douay-Rheims Bible, it reads, "As I was yet speaking in prayer, behold, the man Gabriel, whom I had seen in the vision at the beginning, flying swiftly, touched me at the time of the evening sacrifice. And he instructed me and spoke to me and said, O Daniel, I am now come forth to teach me, and that thou mightest understand." Archangel Gabriel is also mentioned in the New Testament. We read in St. Luke's Gospel, chapter 1, verse 26 of the Douay-Rheims Bible translation, "And in the 6th month the angel Gabriel was sent from God into the city of Galilee called Nazareth." In 1 Enoch, we read in chapter 9, verses 1 to 3, "And then Michael, Uriel, Raphael, and Gabriel looked down from heaven and saw much blood being shed upon the earth, and all lawlessness being wrought upon the earth. And they said one to another, The earth made without inhabitant cries the voice of their crying up to the gates of heaven. And now to you, the holy ones of heaven, the souls of men make their suit, saying, Bring our cause before the Most High." The moon is known as the attribute of God the Mother, found in Isaiah chapter 30, verse 26 of the Douay-Rheims Bible. We read, "And the light of the moon shall be as the light of the sun, and the light of the sun shall be sevenfold, as the light of 7 days in the day when the Lord shall bind up the wound of his people, and shall heal the stroke of their wound." This scripture is from the book of Isaiah. It's actually the giveaway to the secret to deciphering the Torah code by getting rid of the spaces between the letters, which are also numbers giving rise to the way to accomplish the great work of immortality. If you want to, there's a lot of videos on YouTube and websites on the internet about Torah codes and Bible codes. My first introduction to this was back in the 90s, when there was a book called The Bible Code by Michael Drosden that is a very important book to begin to understand some of this very complicated situation. But it's pretty obvious here what this is talking about. This was my own interpretation, is what I read to you about how I think of it, but if you want to really get into a lot of these complicated Torah codes and Bible codes, again, you want to start with that book. Now, regarding your water guardian archangel, Gabriel is an angel who really speaks through to you from your own zodiac astrology angel, your Cancer angel astrology archangel Muriel. So Gabriel is the archangel who rules over the wet and cold winds of the west. And the west, that's an earth coordinates, because water is found in the north for celestial coordinates. Water is found in the north for celestial coordinates, where air is in the west. In the south is earth, and the east is fire in the celestial coordinates, whereas in the earthly coordinates, the east is going to be air, and then the south is going to be fire, and the west is going to be water, and the north is going to be earth. And that's in your general Rosicrucian or Golden Dawn style system of magic. All magic, all different kinds of magic have some variations, but it's basically, that's one very well-known system that has a strong, sort of an esoteric tradition for the Abrahamic faiths. Now, regarding this, we're going to give you an angelic horoscope transmission from your Cancer zodiac angel, who is Muriel, who resides over the crab's cardinal water nature, and these are his messages for you in the areas of love, money, and health. First, we get to Muriel's love, rapture, and romance transmission. Remember, it's all about love. It's all about love. And we have to make sure that what we do, we're doing for the right reasons. The amber kind of crystal, this is a pyramid style that is associated with the frequencies of the angel Muriel, is combining with heartening and restorative remedies that sparkle towards plush, authentically compassionate inner and outer medicinal health-giving elixirs. And you can make elixirs from gemstones, and this particular one we made using rose water and also lemon, an organic, all organic and organic water, and also soaked some rose quartz in here in the sun. We made it ourselves, so this is just for our own consumption. But there are gemstone elixirs out there that you can get that are meant for mass consumption, and you can use those if your energy frequency is high enough. But you got to go vegetarian, as we have gone vegetarian, in order to really be able to deal with that. Now, this kind of elixir will emanate this gemstone, like beams of light, and it'll enchant to the ogle from the gemstone of opal, thrilling your passionate desires through really very charming encouragement given forth from October's Venusian angelic realms. And the journey of this birthstone's plentiful, as well as uplifting and sort of gleaming qualities. Now, there's magical energies and these kind of angelic frequencies of a very mysterious permutation of Zodiac Angel Zuriel's natural seventh house. The seventh house is for Libra association, and it has these kind of attributes and qualities, in addition to your own Cancer energies, bestows to you a very alluring nature, and it glows with anticipation towards seeing new dreams come to realization, as well as enduring and more opportune portents in the remote, less traveled pathways up ahead. Now stay on the path, chants the Bennu bird, if you want to live. Beware risky ventures during Venusian courting sessions. Netsack, you want to be aware that when people are courting, if you don't stay on the path, people could really throw you off, because you have to know what people are really after. What are they really trying to accomplish? Mostly people just want to feel that they have an effect. Mostly, my husband had said to me years ago, I always was asking why people behave the way they do, and he always told me they behave that way because they're trying to have an effect. And he really is quite intelligent and quite enlightened, and he is very right about that. That's really what everybody wants, but we have to try to make sure that we're affecting people in a productive way, not in a way that's going to be hurtful. Okay? Now, regarding the kind of earnings that you're going to get from your good deeds, and that's the source of the traditional zodiac sign of Libra, for the point of captivating sort of because it's all about we instead of I with Libra, and it captivates very awe-inspiring ways to perk up your relationship for heightened enlightenment being our cause of ascension for humanity. And it's going to include those who live above the firmament as well as those who live down below the firmament. This is the tree of life before the fall of Adam and Eve, when Adam and Eve did not know that they were naked, and the klipotic energies were kind of contained at that time. Now watch this in Genesis chapter 1 verse 7 of the Webster Bible translation. We read again, and God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament, and it was so. So expect an increasing commitment and a sense of duty, and sort of sparkles forth from a very kind of, during this time, a peculiar hue of light that illuminates and beckons the spirit with great appetite for tonics, healing to both the spirit and matter. Spirit and matter. We have light, we have dark, we have male, we have female, we have good, we have evil, we have day, we have night. But you have to have both to make the great balance in the center. You cannot exist in all light, you cannot exist in all dark, you must exist in the nexus between the two. So understand that if it was always sunny, you would burn. And if it was always cold, and excuse me, if it was always dark, we would freeze because it would get too cold. So you have to have both, good and evil, light and dark. You have to have, male and female. You have to have both, Now, and there's all the permutations of all those, but, just like in genetics, but you have to have, you have to have something to be able to see what you're doing. Now, expect that also, besides that, the sort of commitment and the increasing feeling that people want rules and regulations during this time. It's going to be obtained when you own a gemstone that is going to be congruent with you during this time, and to allure very Venusian, Netzach qualities, vortex centers of the throat and high heart and solar plexus chakra attributes, thus producing a very quite bountiful amounts of satisfaction throughout healing periods during knowledge and conversation of one's holy guardian angel, yielding achievement of upper planes of existence allowed through use of higher sensory organs and smaller, though more ascended organelles during several ultradimensional and interdimensional communications, which are made very convincing through very complementary associations with obscure references to oft-thought uncoupled Venusian lung and respiratory factors beholding to the humor of phlegm. Now, watch this. Its receptacle, this is a quote, its receptacle is the lungs and is governed by Venus in Netzach. Some say the moon in Yesod. Okay? Some say the moon in Yesod. Continuing, some by the moon. Perhaps it may be governed by them both. It is cold and moist in quality. This is from Culpeper's Complete Herbal. This is a book from 1643, the year 1643, on page 300. Again, its receptacle is the lungs and is governed by Venus. Some say by the moon. Perhaps it may be governed by them both. It is cold and moist in quality. Again, that is from Culpeper's Complete Herbal from 1643, page 300. So that's worth mentioning again for you to understand the complexity of that. Now, nevertheless, it is the kidneys that Venus rules over, and the lumbar portions of the spine, the throat chakra, thyroid gland attributes, as well as the high heart thymus gland or upper solar plexus chakra, adrenal gland, and lower solar plexus pancreas functions and awareness, willpower through the throat chakra. The throat chakra is all about your will. And the Sapphire of the Ath, and then the upper and the lower solar plexus qualities of ego health activates Sapphire of mercurial potency within Hod and in Tiferet. And the invisible Da'ath, thus explaining how to obtain and identify one's lunar power of Yesod, one's lunar power of Yesod. And again, that is the lunar aspect from the moon, and that gives you the sensuality and the mystery. And it calls upon one passion found in martial Gebura, which will then offer sources of Sephirotic magical currents of charm for love magic, which is effective when influenced through Venusian qualities of desire and emotive expressions of love in heartfelt ways, as well as really sexuality and lovemaking for fruitful production of progeny found in goddesses or gods of beauty. And these are cults such as like cosmetic companies and fertility cults such as modern medical fraternity clinics. These are fertility and beauty cults, as well as seventh house attributes of law and commitment being those who both heal and poison, such as therapeutic or toxic dosages of law, you can have too much of a good thing. Too many regulations are not enough. Just like therapeutic or toxic doses of medicines. See, same thing, corresponding to the Sapphire of Netzach, named classically as the Greek goddess Aphrodite, Roman goddess Venus, Egyptian god Bastet, and planetary archangel Anael. And they invoke a very powerful, or invoke a very powerful magical current when these are included in the performance of ritual ceremonial magic. Now, the apostle Jude Thaddeus is associated with the symbol of the lance, the symbol of the lance. And remember this book, it is The Occult Christ, Angelic Mysteries, Seasonal Rituals, and the Divine Feminine by author Ted Andrews. This is a Llewellyn publication, very important. This book also states that Apostle Jude Thaddeus represents all who live life courageously. That's a quote, and the cosmic principle of construction through courage. And this is associated with the degree of the apprenticeship along with James the Just, Simon, and Judas Iscariot. So I sort of paraphrase that last part there from that book. Again, I have constructed my own system of Christian magic and Christian astrology, but these books are invaluable, as is the Zohar. The Zohar is invaluable for anybody who wants to study Kabbalah, and it's important to all the Abrahamic faiths. The Zohar is a very, very, very important book. If you want to purchase a great Zohar collection of volumes, of this many volumes, I believe there's 23. Interesting. That's like how many chromosomes we have in the sex genes. Yeah, it's 23. So it's interesting how that it's like it's a spiritual way of getting information to us so that we give birth to a soul. So you can go to the Kabbalah Center to get Zohars, or you can get you can probably also contact Kabbalah Info. They have several books there as well. Now, regarding Muriel's money and wealth transmission, the love of Creator God and constant prayer through desire for what God offers continually through holy guardian angel messages, as well as very luxurious comprehensions and the tree of knowledge of good and evil is the commandment of demigods. Now remember, the great god Zeus works through his demigods, and in Greek mythology, and he throws the lightning bolt, and that's coming down all, when this vessel cannot properly contain all the energy, it has to bounce off the various pillars of Joachim and Boaz, so that it's not too much energy, so it doesn't shatter the vessel. Because remember, the vessel was originally, they're shattered, like when you step on the glass, Mazel Tov, and it shatters the vessel. And the purpose for that in Kabbalistic theory, it teaches the purpose of that is to give us the ability to regather, and it's a Tikkun Olam, to regather the pieces so that we have the same sensation the Creator has of a form of bestowal in a way that we're able to accomplish in these fleshly bodies, which are all about just receiving. So, that's one way. So now regarding parts of the body that are influenced at this time, it's the kidneys, and Venus rules over the lumbar portions of the spine. And remember, this is you have to understand which parts of your body are going to be affected. Now, when the Sun unites forces with Venus, the planet Venus, while transiting through planetary angel Anael's Venusian angelic realm, it's also going to include the zodiac angel Zuriel for this time of year, for the seventh house, sort of natural seventh house, and sort of a Libra association, and that's the archangel, the zodiac angel, the astrology archangel Zuriel, and it dwells kind of filling the heart with compassionate yearnings. And you're going to be really into fixer-upper homes during this time, or really turnkey businesses, and that's going to give you ample good fortune, and it's going to become available during this month of October to rejuvenate any economic position from which one may want to gain a profit. Yeah. Now, banking institutions and businesses increase business through practices which help their customers through attending to really the desires of those with whom they do business, tending to financial law and commitment to each investor when Sol transits the natural 7th house frequencies, where planetary archangel of Venus, Anael, and zodiac angel of Libra, Zuriel, oversee activity bringing desire for better circumstances and ascension. And it's really a fulfilling of one's dreams and longings through sacred knowledge of the workings of God's great universe. Because remember that astrology is just about God's great clock. It's not anti-God. It's about God made us a clock, and it's just a study of that and how it affects people, because of course we're affected by everything around us. It'd be silly to say the sun and the moon and the planets don't affect us. Of course they do. Some to a greater and some to a lesser degree, but of course they do. Now is the time, this is the time when you have to pay attention to one's own laws. You gotta keep your own rules. And your soul is going to be set in place for you from before creation, as well as strengthening commitments to priority relationships and goals. Now, when you get into laws and rules, understand that it really is important that the intention is one person interacting with another person for the point of, having a conversation or communicating in a productive manner, or are they just trying to get the person in a situation where they're trying to prove the person wrong all the time or get the person back? Because intention, that's why when you're doing, many types of disclaimers, people say we're doing this is the intention, or this is not the intention. Because intention is something that you feel. It's not, and your divine tone Cancer is I feel. So intention is something you feel. You can sense when somebody, no matter what they're saying or what their expression is or their tone, what is their intention. And if you're sensitive enough, you can sense it. And if you get a feeling that some intention it might look innocent, but you can feel that intention might not be at your best interest, it's better maybe just to walk away and to leave that situation and, tend to it another time. Let people, sit with their own intentions for a while. So that's how you can understand where people are coming from, in a way that's more healing for you in particular. Now, these kind of sephirotic attributes that you're using for money magic, remember, it's going to be something that you're going to be trying to use the Jupiterian aspect of Facet and the Venusian aspect of Netzach, and they're important sephira when these money magic techniques. And it's going to have cause to bring you great organizational skills, and really, again, sticking to your own rules. And the infamous 1% is really talking about Malkuth, and the 99% is all the rest of it, the upper Sephiroth above Malkuth, including the Ruach and all these other things, high in the supernals. But really, you're going to get good opportunities when especially if you learn how to make magical talismans. There's many great books about that, made with loving hands, able to really contact and utilize those friendly and good beings brought to earth through etheric plane understandings resulting from focus on earthly talents dwelling well within friendly magical elementals that we all have to depend upon. All magicians and adepts must rely on the friendly elementals. It's important to be good friends with them. If you want to learn about the Kabbalah and the 1% and the 99%, you can also visit Billy Phillips' channel from the Kabbalah Center. He knows all about and teaches all about the 1%. Again, it's in Malkuth, and the rest of the 99%, the rest of the Sephiroth. But he explains that very well in his videos and in his presentations and blogs. You should really check that out. Now, wizards and wizardresses often invoke into their being or invoke into fashion sacred spaces or magical circles. You can invoke or invoke, because into yourself or invoke into the circle. Energies, you've got to be careful what you're doing. You got to know what you're doing. The Sephir of Binah, excuse me, I keep saying Binah here, but it's here. This is actually Gebura. Binah's up here. Because the three supernals are included in this one circle, so I'm not pointing to it right, but yeah, Binah's up here. And it's a Saturnine intelligence, and the angels and the divine names are assigned in Kabbalah to characteristics such as hermetically sealing great power, which when released then manifests very wondrous modes of increasing opportunities for healing one's finances or keeping already gotten finances in very really tip-top condition. Now, attention to details of law and sustained commitment, that's what you're going to find during October. And it's commitment to God and family and friends, and that's going to win at the end of the day every time, especially when astrological progressions call for combining Moonstone or Ruby with Opal, and for uniting astrology archangelic forces known to Muriel and Zuriel, which lures customers and clients through mystery and scent and sight and sound, alluring to your senses. Remember, you want to always remember to smell these beautiful lemon and rose water. You want to remember to really make sure you let that filter through all your senses. Now, powerful magnetism in the theaters of corporate law and international law, business and tax law during this time is important. It sustains a great reward, yet it extracts an often greater price from those who seek to control others. Now, our magical order likes to often say, control yourself lest others control you. It's a order that I'm started in the 90s. I'm the Imperatrix of the Hermetic Order of the Alchemical Flame, and because we're an alchemy group. My husband is a wonderful alchemist. He's a sublime alchemist in making monoatomics. He makes wonderful elixirs. And that was based on that, plus also the spiritual part, which I did more of the spiritual teaching, and he did a lot of the making of the elixirs. Now watch this. Let's look at Romans chapter 13, verse 8 in the Webster Bible translation. Owe no man anything, but to love one another, for he that loveth another hath fulfilled the law. If you want to get great Bibles, you can always get beautiful Bibles at Pauline's bookstore on Bishop Street in Honolulu, and the Pauline Books and Media worldwide, because they have wonderful Bibles and spiritual books, and of course wonderful Catholic statues, and also amulets and talismans and miraculous metal. Now, the throat chakra and the heart and the solar plexus chakras are very invigorated, and they're absorbed in sort of a very lustrous and a gentle opal light, and harmonized during this time, which is why good economic health will inspire kind of a very delicious environment for you, and it'll pioneer, it'll give you sort of a pioneering spirit. And this is going to help through October's use of the gemstone and the energies, and bestowing to you an angelic frequency of comfort and an ample portion of monetary opportunities through which you're going to be able to really prosper. Now we're going to get to Muriel's health and fitness transmission. And remember, get this book, The Angels, The Message to Humanity, Ascension to Divine Union, Powerful Enochian Magic, Gerald Schuller, PhD, and Betty Schuller, PhD. Our order uses the books by John D. and Edward Kelly, but we use this book as well. Wonderful books. We also use Enochian Magic, a practical manual by Gerald and Betty Schuller. It's a Llewellyn series. And we also have an advanced Guide to Enochian Magic by Gerald G. Schuller, complete manual, again, for the angelic magic. See, these are very important books. We have quite a collection. Now, we have a lot of the Schuller's books. Now, health disciplines were going to prove very fruitful during October. It's a time when you have an increased zest for life from the Venusian aspects that are unleashed during October, hosting of Sol, or the sun. Contentment is your trophy, knowing and using ancient sciences such as alchemy that we're mentioning, the monatomic elixirs, along with sort of a hosting of the magical gemstone array strategies that are made with loving kindness, like the breastplate of Aaron, in the hands of enrichingly rich artisans. And it's wonderful to use the Urim and the Thummim, talked about in the book of Exodus, as a divination system if you're a Christian psychic or doing Christian, any kind of Christian divination. Now, even though the sun transits through the natural seventh house attributes of law and commitment during October, it's going to help and with your compassion, even though there's a lot of rules. you're going to be given a lot of compassion during this time as well, because things are going to be easily resolved during this kind of distinctive astrological confluence arrays of planets and moons that are all acclimated and configurated and corresponding to different structures of the brain and the moons and the stars due to a balancing of the throat and the heart and the solar plexus chakras. Your throat, or your fifth chakra, is analogous to the invisible Sapphire of Da'ath, and that really is a doorway to other realms. So it's important to know that. And that's going to involve, also you're going to involve the thyroid gland through the expression of the personal resolve through a very determined, powerful tone, added equanimity, though, of Christ's humility and submission to Father God, Creator. Now, Ruach, or Holy Spirit-filled speech, is how healing is achieved. Fourth, or heart chakra, secreting of healthful hormones such as thymosin from thymus gland structures in the high heart area, gives immune system good function. Improvement in health through fortification of one's immune system is accomplished through frequent and extended practice of Tibetan rites found in the book entitled Ancient Secret of the Fountain of Youth by Peter Kelder. This important work has 2 volumes, and these books are worth mentioning again and again and again. This work describes regaining youth using an ancient Tibetan system of yoga called the 6 Tibetan rites, of which only 5 are well known due to extreme austerity necessary in keeping a heretofore veiled potent 6th rite discipline in an esoteric or hidden fashion being given to the world now. Now, such practices keep one's energy meridian system in sublime, healthful state, and it'll give you a rejuvenation of your health. And the upper and lower solar plexus ductless glands include the adrenals and the pancreas, which are also strengthened and revitalized using Tibetan yoga rites. All are stimulated when soul transits natural 7th house frequencies, where throat chakra enlivens one's sephirotic vortex centers of Da'ath, or knowledge. High heart as well as upper and lower solar plexus chakra activation happens during this progression that involves the Sapphire of Tiferet, which is in the heart chakra, and it's going to encumber, and also the solar plexus, and the soul of the heart and the ego of the solar plexus chakras. Fundamental awareness of one's true will leads to good adherence to biological law, giving rise to well-organized and accurate cellular task functioning towards very vital and vivacious health. A wonderful, comforting, balancing, and therapeutic focus will occur during October when one impresses one's personal morphogenic field onto the objective towards healing brought into reality through holding quite firmly to universal laws. So you want to make sure that you're holding fast to the general universal laws in addition to your own. Now follow this in 1 Corinthians 6, chapter 6, verse 19 to 20 of the New Heart English Bible. Or do you not know that your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit, which is in you, which you have from God? You are not your own, for you were bought with a price. Therefore glorify God in your body. Harmonized routines is important during October. Now, in the I Ching method of chakra healing, this portion of the year is significant for healing of the organs of the throat, chest, and the lumbar spine, the kidneys, as well as the ductless glands that we've already mentioned. And while you're going to be cleansing and soothing and harmonizing natural 7th house qualities, being October's zodiac sign of Libra's ruling planet of Venus, which is concerned with the Archangel Anael, blessing 10 Kabbalistic Sephirotic dimensions, plus bringing a brand new form of awareness to you, and a comfort and a healing, and the remedies and curative formulations, as well as conversely, if you're not careful, toxic preparations. So you want to stick with the healing ones, and you also, these tinctures have to be congruent with your selfless portion, because if it's selfish, you're going to overindulge, and that's when things that are therapeutic can become toxic. Anything, becomes toxic when there's too much of it. Now, incorporation of the entire range of energetic frequencies of Moonstone for Luna and Ruby for Cancer and Opal for Libra brings law and commitment. And these disciplines during October are going to cause you to become even more able to reach your desires of being, you want to be alluring to others. And people are going to be really lured in by your mysterious behavior and your sort of peekaboo type nature during this astrological transit. And it's really, they say the Creator plays peekaboo, plays peekaboo with us. They say that's what Creator does, sort of unveiling the Creator. That's what Apocalypse is. It's revealing of the Creator. Now, again, it's going to be sort of lighthearted and fun and fresh if you got to keep yourself in a lighthearted way, and you're going to be able to get lucky environments, and you're also going to be able to conjure up treasures from the love magic, as well as your appetite for ritual ceremonial formula when the natural 7th house attributes are invoked, and the commitment and law, and it's going to be accentuated using October's gemstones, as well as those corresponding to the planet Venus. Your throat, heart, and solar plexus chakras are really going to be calculated to be of very vast significance and import throughout natural 7th house solar transits for the function of establishing rich treasures in heaven, leading to establishment of Christ's kingdom here on earth, transfiguring our earthly bodies into glorified bodies in Christ Jesus our Lord. Christ demonstrated his body of light in the book of Matthew. That's chapter 17, verses 2. In the Webster's Bible translation we read, "And he was transfigured before them, and his face shone as the sun, and his raiment was white as the light." Astrocartographic arrangements currently, as well as at birth, must be revealed if a holistic style of unveiling one's inner nature is truly desired. Disclaimers in order here. High magic should be used with all mindfulness, since powerful forces of manifestation are unleashed. This is intended exclusively for entertainment purposes. Remember to chant your divine tone of "I feel," or try the higher aspect of simply meditating on the quality of feeling, and be wise, be well, be all you are meant to be, Cancer. Information found in this document is based on the oral tradition known as Kabbalah, taught to me by a Rosicrucian clergy when I was but a young girl, the facts of which I have committed to memory. Thank you for joining us, and please join us again.